Phoenix, this week we celebrate Holy Week, the most important and sacred week of the church year. It began on Sunday with Palm Sunday and Jesus' entry into Jerusalem. Today is Holy Thursday, the day of Jesus' Last Supper, and tomorrow we remember the crucifixion on Good Friday. But this week is not a week of sorrow. Even through his suffering and death, we are promised the hope of salvation which is brought to us through Christ's resurrection on Easter. As we approach the promise of new life, we are grateful for a God of love, a God who suffered and died for us, and a God who brings us the promise of new life.
A reading from the Gospel according to John. Before the feast of Passover, Jesus knew that his hour had come to pass from this world to the Father. He loved his own in the world, and he loved them to the end. The devil had already induced Judas, son of Simon the Iscariot, to hand him over. So, during the supper, fully aware that the Father had put everything into his word, and that he had come from God and was returning to God, he rose from supper and took off his outer garments. He took a towel and tied it around his waist. Then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and dried them with the towel around his waist. He came to Simon Peter, who said to him,
Master, are you going to wash my feet?
Jesus answered and said to him,
What I am doing, you do not understand now, but you will understand later.
You will never wash my feet.
Unless I wash you, you will have no inheritance with me.
Master, then not only my feet, but my hand and head as well.
Whoever has bathed has no need except to have his feet washed, for he is clean all over. So you are clean, but not all.
for he knew who would betray him for this reason. He said, Not all of you are clean. So when he had washed their feet and put his garments back on and reclined at table again, he said to him,
Do you realize what I have done for you? You call me teacher and master, and rightly so, for indeed I am. If I, therefore, the master and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to wash one another's feet. I have given you a model to follow, so that, as I have done for you, you should also do.
After Holy Thursday comes Good Friday, a day when we pause to remember the suffering that Jesus endured on the cross. Typically, more people will attend church on Good Friday than any other day of the year. Maybe it's because we can all relate to Jesus' suffering. This is marked by the Stations of the Cross, which we have here in the chapel. Our suffering is something that Jesus did not just for death, but to bring about new life.
You see, you are diamonds in a ring of gold. You see, you are a story to remain untold, but all the promises we made, from the cradle to the grave, our all is you. You say you'll give me a highway with no one on it, a treasure just to look upon it, all the riches in the night. You say you'll give me eyes in a moon of blindness, a river inside of dryness, a harbor in the tempest, but all the promises we made, from the cradle to the grave. I want is you. But all the promises we made, from the cradle to the grave. I want is you. I want is you.
Easter Sunday is truly a time to rejoice. Jesus' resurrection means we all have a chance at new life.
A reading from the Gospel according to Mark. When the Sabbath was over, Mary Magdalene and Mary the mother of James and Salome bought the spices, so that they might go and anoint him. And very early on the first day of the week, when the sun had risen, they went to the tomb. They had been saying to one another,
Who will roll away the stone for us from the entrance to the tomb?
When they looked up, they saw that the stone, which was very large, had already been rolled back. As they entered the tomb, they saw a young man dressed in a white robe, sitting on the right side, and they were alarmed. But he said to them,
Do not be alarmed. You're looking for Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. He has been raised. He is not here. Look, there's the place they laid him. But go, tell his disciples and Peter that he's going ahead of you to Galilee. There you will see him, just as he told you.
So they went out and fled from the tomb, for terror and amazement had seized them, and they said nothing to anyone, for they were afraid.
The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Roll away your stone, I'll roll away mine. Together we can see what we will find. Don't leave me alone at this time, for I'm afraid of what I will discover inside. You told me that I would find a home within the fragile substance of my soul. And I have filled this void with things unreal. And all the while my character is sealed. Darkness is a harsh term, don't you think? And yet it dominates the things I see. that all my bridges have been burned. But you tell me that's exactly how this grace thing works. It's not the long road home that will change this heart, but the welcome I receive at every start. Darkness is a harsh word, don't you think? And yet it dominates the things I see. Darkness is a harsh word, don't you think? And yet it dominates the things I see. Stars, hide your fires, for these here are my desires, and I won't give them up to you this time around. So I'll be found, my stake stuck in this ground, marking the territory of this newly impassioned soul. Hide your fires, for these here are my desires, and I won't give them up to you this time around. So I'll be found, my stake stuck in this ground, marking the territory of this newly impassioned soul. You've gone too far this time. You have neither reason nor rhyme with which to take this soul that is so rightfully mine.